Hey everyone, Sirturmund here again. So today I wanted to show you the fresh off the press. It's coming straight up from 4LW's Twitter, and this is gonna be Akshan Twisted Fate. So if you don't know who 4LW is, he's our most recent seasonal champion in the Americas, and he's one of the best deck builders that this game has ever seen. Stuff like Pirate Aggro, including the new version of Pirate Aggro, was innovated by 4LW. So just keep that in mind to understand who we're talking about here. Now, he posted on Twitter on Wednesday this interesting list playing Akshan and Twisted Fate. And the idea here is to kind of disrupt the meta. So this deck, according to 4LW, does very well into Pirate Aggro and also does well into Nami Twisted Fate, which are two very popular decks. So it's a good deck if you're facing those two decks specifically to be able to beat them. Now, the idea with this deck is that you're kind of playing this two champion combination together with the Bloodletters, which allows you to get a lot of values by being able to turbo level your Warlord's Palace or your Warlord's Horde very, very quickly, and then eventually be able to summon Solani, which can be overwhelmed to finish the game. So this is kind of like a little bit of an aggro slash mid-range deck that has a lot of removal to kind of deal with the opponent stuff. So Forsaken Bakai, great one drop, lets you predict into what you want, and also it's a great blocker against Pirate Aggro. Shapestone, obviously to synergize with Akshan. Shell Shocker, similar thing. Again, remember, we're trying to beat aggro, right? We're trying to beat Pirate Aggro, and you just put a lot of pressure on the opponent, so that's why Shell Shocker works here. And you can actually do Shell Shocker into Bloodletters, so that's another reason why this kind of combination works out. It also allows you to play Shell Shocker into Akshan on turn 2, and then Bloodletters right away to start advancing the Warlord's Palace. Bloodletters is amazing with Akshan. It's able to let you kind of replay the Bloodletters over and over again to keep advancing the Akshan equipment, the Akshan Warlord's Palace, and then on top of that, you get a unit in return every time that the unit dies, which again just puts more pressure. This is all about pressure. This deck is all about tempo and just putting pressure. And those Darking Trolls do exactly just that because of how big they become once you put the Bloodletters on them. Akshan, hard and soul of your deck. Again, levels up really quickly. 2 heavy metal to deal with like timelines. It's also really nice to beat like Norra. It can also hit the Hookmaster. Equipment is all over the place in this meta, so heavy metal is the best equipment removal. And even if you're not going to get equipment, it's a slow speed mystic shot, so it's amazing. Mirage Warden to block pirates, but also again to put pressure. Runeterra's Path, similar way. It puts pressure, lets you heal and draw against the Pirate Aggro player, potentially getting you into your outs, and it works to synergize with Twisted Fate level up. Absorber to just sometimes push the last little bit of damage that you need to win the game because we have Akshan that can level up really quickly. Merciless Hunter, target Nami, target Misfortune, win the game. 1 Quicksand for the random elusives against Nami is a nice game there. Vagabond, great blocker and synergizes with Akshan obviously. 1 Rider Negation for the Sermons, Atrocities, Vengeance, etc. Triple Twisted Fate, just value, red card, blue card, gold card. Any way that you do it, you'll be able to have a good advantage here, and you actually have a good chance of leveling up Twisted Fate in this deck because of Runeterra's Path and the next card that we're playing, which is Ionia Kaboros. So Ionia Kaboros also puts a lot of pressure on the opponent, can let you have some nice open attacks, and puts a timer on the clock with Twisted Fate on the field as well. So ends up being really, really nice to play Ionia Kaboros in this deck. And then the most broken card in Bilgewater, Riptide Sermon. If you thought you didn't have any removal in this deck, Riptide Sermon literally removes every single champion out there, lets you burn the opponent Nexus and summon a unit. Because again, this deck is kind of like an aggro deck that can beat pirates, right? So it's an aggro deck that can beat pirates because you have enough blockers, you have Riptide Sermon to remove the Misfortune, etc. While also being able to be fast enough to aggro on those Ionia, Nami decks. So really interesting deck that 4LW posted. I played it a little bit and it seems to be doing well. It does take some getting used to and obviously remembering how much you can combo out with the Bloodletters and Akshan, and then kind of go from there. So hope you enjoyed the games today, and I'll see you all at the end of the video for some mulligan tips. I hope you remember to subscribe below if you enjoy our content since we post LOR videos every single day. I'll see you all in a little bit. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Norra Heimer. We might be able to kind of... Okay, wow. Okay, this is an amazing hand. Oh, wow. I know you're saying wow, but this is a great hand. Even to the second action. So the whole idea with this deck is that you can get a lot of value of triggering action really quickly. because of the Bloodletters being able to replay it on Akshan over and over again. The downside in this matchup is that the opponent has access to Quactus. So Quactus could just kill the Akshan right away on this turn. Don't think I can play around it though. Quactus can also destroy the Bloodletters, which could be really unfortunate. Let's go ahead and just do it here. That way, if the opponent doesn't block, they're taking 3 damage. Maybe we should have waited. That way we play the Bloodletters into the grappling hook. But I don't think we're doing that this turn anyways, because we can always go the heavy metal for the Norra this turn. Yeah. So heavy metal is really good because you can kill Norra just like this. We'll have access to Riptide Sermon on turn 5. Opponent goes for the Hate Spike. Sucks. But guess what we get back here? Guess what we get back here? We get the Bloodletters back. On a Darkling Troll, that's going to become a really big unit that the opponent has to block. This is why it ends up being really, really nice. Let's play Shell Shocker first. And then Akshan once I see what the opponent is doing. Alphys? Do we still play the Akshan here? I don't think so. I don't think I want to play Akshan anymore until I have Akshan leveled up. Because if I play him and he dies again, then I won't get the Nets, obviously the Nets one. Which could be problematic. The downside here, obviously, is that the opponent gets Spell Shield. Which means that we cannot actually kill this Heimerdinger. No matter what we do. So let's go here again and then go blue card. Pokestick. Like, the opponent getting that, I guess we can Sermon now. Might as well. It's a nice target. The opponent getting the Husk with Spell Shield on top of it makes it really difficult for us to deal with that Heimer. Like, really difficult. To the point that I don't know if we can actually win anymore. Because the opponent's going to continue getting so much value because of Heimer. Now, we could just go Akshan here. And keep the red card to get rid of their stuff. Because opponent has to still block. Opponent still has to block, right? So the red card gets rid of the Spell Shield and the Elusive. The opponent commits like a Vengeance or something like that. We got the Akshan leveled up, so we do get the Warlord's Horde now. It's going to be a hard game. It's going to be a hard game. But it doesn't look like the opponent has a lot of value either. Problem is that our hand also kind of feels a little low value. And the second Riptide Sermon should be really nice. Wonder what he goes for here. That's the Vengeance. That's the Vengeance. Why don't we just attack? Why don't we just attack first? And once the opponent commits the Floor Be Gone, that's when we play the Twisted Fate, and then we play the Relic of Power. I don't want to lose to that elusive damage, so that's why I'm doing it this way. This also lets me draw here, which is always nice, because he's drawing with Twisted Fate on the field. Let's go for second Twisted Fate. And this plays around Quietus, and also starts working on our Palace. And then we can go super wide next turn. And down for the Twisted Fate card. Oh, that's, I guess, a good draw. I'm super down for the Twisted Fate pick a card here. Stacking the odds. I just want to get some draw. Our hand looks really awkward. They get the Norra. Wow. They get the Norra. I mean, we tapped out a Sermon anyways, but it's just annoying that they got the second Norra from that Pokestick. So now they're gonna have the portals just be really big units. Why attack here? I don't agree with this attack. I don't care. Like, if you have less units, the better it is for me. Twisted Fate threatening the level up. One is just trying to high roll the portals, I guess. So we can go here. I think at this point we just kill the Norra. Heimer is kind of annoying, but we can't kill Heimer anyways. We get another draw with the path. We have Rana Negation to protect ourselves. So we have Rana Negation to protect ourselves. Waken. I think I'm down to block this. That way we still kill the Norra. Opponent doesn't get the value from that portal. If opponent has Vengeance, it's a problem. But they're playing like they don't have Vengeance. That was from Conchologist. So they're playing like they don't have Vengeance. And we have to use this we have to use this Rana Negation right now anyways. They might go for... That's so unfortunate. I mean, it gives me the Bloodletters back, I guess. But that's actually super unfortunate. Could have been so much... Ah, man, because that Twisted Fate resets all the way down to 0. They could have just killed the Twisted Fate, but then they lose their Norra, so that's why they didn't go for it that way. We can't trigger the Warlord's Whore soon enough. We can kill the Norra with the second Sermon, which is also nice if the opponent does an open attack here. Even if they open attack, we can still kill her. That way she doesn't get value from the portals. So it's not impossible. It's not the end of the world, right? Because we can block with the Tentacle, get another Darking Troll, and go from there. Big of Dust means that we're going to have to block with everything. But that's okay. Do we go for the Heimer then? Spawn is just gonna refill regardless. Do we just go for the Heimer then? The Norra still has the vulnerable, but then the opponent's just gonna get the turrets, right? So opponent's gonna be able to high roll whatever Norra gets them. I guess let's go here. Let's go here and pretend that we can kill that Norra. And maybe this slows them down enough. So we just have to hope that the opponent doesn't like high roll something crazy with these two portals that they have. Opponent also is at 6 HP, so they need to be careful about that. Second Sermon, that's huge. Second Sermon is huge. Second Darking Troll. What if we just Solani here instead? So if we Solani, we still trigger the Warlord's Whore, by the way, right? So we still trigger the Warlord's Whore. This is pushing 2 damage. Solani's gonna be able to push 4 by pulling the Norra. An opponent didn't hit the portals here. Question here is, what's the strongest unit that has died for us? It's the Merciless Hunter, right? So we can do this and bring back the Merciless Hunter. And I don't know if that's enough. It might be. It might be better to do the draw. I like the draw better. I think the draw gives me more options. I guess technically we pull here, right? Because this is... his other blockers are not really great. Yeah, he doesn't really have any other blockers. So we pull this way. Because this is going to be 5. Do we press OK here, since we have the Sermon to finish him up? Portopalooza? Looking for the portal. Yes, but it goes to the hand because his hand is full. So if they wanted to do the Portapalooza, they had to do it earlier. Vengeance here to stop the damage, but then they lose to the Absolver. So because we ended up drawing instead, that means that we also have the Absolver as a potential win condition now, instead of just Solani. 2 spells. Vengeance is not enough. Vengeance is not enough. And that's game. It's 7 here. Opponent even gave us the glimpse to be able to get us through. Alright, we got there. Solani ends up being pretty clutch, but you can kind of see how quickly we're able to trigger like the different things, right? For the Warlord's Palace and the Warlord's Sword. They got the Towering Storm. We did get lucky though that they didn't roll the portals until like this turn, but if you play Norra, you should expect the RNG to happen sometimes, so GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Pirate Aggro. We play our own Sermons, we have Twisted Fates, we have a lot of blockers like Mirai Warden, so this looks pretty decent to me. I'm wondering if I'm supposed to keep the Merciless Hunter, and I don't think we are. Because the only thing that I want with the Merciless Hunter is to kill Misfortune. But I think we should still be okay. We don't get a 1-drop, unfortunately, so we don't get the Bakai. We are going to lose 3 damage here, unless the opponent opens, then we can just block, of course. Of course, we get the Bakai a little bit too late. Yeah, we just got Mirai Warden. Unless the opponent gets Make It Rain here. Okay, yeah, they don't. Really? That means they have Misfortune, right? So that means they have Misfortune and they're trying to play for the Misfortune. We have to play around Twisted Fate. I guess I can't do anything about it, huh? If the opponent has Twisted Fate or Make It Rain, I have to, because I have to have blockers. So I have to have blockers, unfortunately. Okay, we can block with our own Anakaboros, so this is not a big deal.
Hello, new best friend.
Really? So, is it better for Sermon or Anakaboros? Or Shell Shocker into Anakaboros? It has to just be Shell Shocker, right? That way we block 4, we only take 3. If we Sermon, we also only taking 3 though. Yeah, if we Sermon, we also only taking 3. I guess the Sermon now means that the Misfortune is pretty good to do whatever they want, though. I like the Sermon. I like the Sermon, because the Sermon can stay alive, right? So the Sermon can stay alive. And we only lose 3 damage. Don't think it's going to be a Shell Shocker yet, just so that we can keep playing around Make It Rain or Twisted Fate. Opponent's down to 4 cards already, and we still have a ton of blockers. And now we can play the action and start working on the action here. If we were to draw Twisted Fate, opponent will be in a lot of trouble. It's just a type of action. Okay, Misfortune. That's a little bit unfortunate. Runeterra's Path, I think is really good. Lets us heal and also gives us a draw. I still want to play around Twisted Fate. Still want to play around the Twisted Fate. We have the action to block. So we can block here and block here. And what if we block like this? What if we block like this to trigger the action? Make it rain? Fervor? That's a Fervor that's not going face. So that's a Fervor that's not going face that the opponent just used there. Let's go for the Runeterra's Path. We're still at 18 health. I guess Misfortune is going to be the only annoying part though. Aha! Misfortune is no longer the annoying part. We can do the Darkened Bloodletters. We still have the Anakaboros as blockers. That means that we don't lose to Twisted Fate, by the way. If we go like this. But we do lose to a Make It Rain. We do lose to a Make It Rain, so... Do I actually want to do this? I'm down to do this. I'm down to do this. We have the Anakaboros for next turn, which is always nice. And we're gonna get Solani here pretty shortly. We Cultus. We have double Anakaboros. We get Twisted Fate now. Do we even do anything anymore? I guess let's go ahead and do this. That way we advance this this Warlord's Palace. We're only taking 3. We're only taking 3. We're only taking 6 now. We're taking 6. If we don't do the Twisted Fate, we take 6. However, if we do Twisted Fate, we have access to the Anakaboros now to potentially level up Twisted Fate. Odin goes for it. We got another Darking Troll. We get the Sermon. We go here and here. The Darking Trolls are going to push a ton of damage. I'm not going to trigger it right now, though, because I probably just want to go for lethal. So I think I just go for lethal, by the way. Because we also have access to Red Test Sermon. So we're going to go here. Opponent has a Fervor or a Make It Rain. We know that the opponent has a Fervor or a Make It Rain, by the way. So we can go like this. And then we can go Sermon. Opponent doesn't even get a blocker here for some reason, so this is lethal. Even if the opponent plays Fervor on one of our units, it's still lethal every single time, because this is also pushing 2. And if the opponent Fervors in one of our units, then it means that we can play the Sandstorm Charger. Perfect. So now we can play the Sandstorm Charger, because the opponent just gave us the spot, forcing them to block with the sap anyways. And we're chilling. 4, 7, 9, yeah. Game. 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 Why pick? Opponent had 2 choices of weapons. They purposely picked the Shepherd's Authority to try to go for the lethal with their elusives next turn. And I think that was way too greedy, so GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Karma Viktor. So it's going to be a game that goes into late game. We might be able to stop that by going super aggro. How aggro do I really want to go, though? Is that true? What if we just go for the weapon? Oh, okay. Well, our hand is a lot worse than it was a second ago. Unless we draw into action here with the Forsaken Bakai, then otherwise this hand is like not great. Not great. Okay, we drew into the action anyways. So we naturally drew into the action. So that's always better than nothing. And we get their Darking Bloodletters. So the Darking Bloodletters is what we need to make action turbo level. Opponent. I guess Heavy Metal is Bilgewater. I've been playing Heavy Metal so much with like Ionia stuff that I forgot that it's actually Bilgewater. Opponent probably has access to Mystic Shot. So I want to play the action once I have access to Absolver, so that we can at least beat the Mystic, even if we cannot beat the Get Excited. Okay, we can't beat the Aftershock. We can't beat the Aftershock though, unfortunately. We still got this out of the way though, so that's pretty nice. So we get to push another 4, and we'll have Twisted Fate. Okay, so they have the Mystic. I think we go for the Absolver. This is pushing 5 damage. There's no reason not to. So they did have the Mystic as well. They had the Mystic and the Aftershock. Yeah, that 5 damage is too valuable for us to lose. So it absolutely makes sense to just go for it. Viktor gets hit by the Merciless Hunter, which we're going to sacrifice the Forsaken Bakai into it. So we can sacrifice the Forsaken Bakai into it. Opponent should never try to attack here. There we go. We have Riptide Sermon now, which is also pushing a ton of damage. We get the Darking Troll. Twin. Alright. Let him have it. I wonder if he taps out of it. I wonder if the opponent taps out of the... We have to just... We just have to rip it, right? We have to rip it, even if they deny it. Even if they deny it, we have to always rip it. They didn't get the deny. They could have another twin, and then they have regen to regen back up. But they still go down to 5. Yeah, they still go down to 5. We can put the Bloodletters on the Dark Control and just have a pretty big attack. Thermal? Okay, so killing our units makes sense. I think we just aggro... I think we have successfully aggro them down. So I think we have successfully aggro them down, which is really what I was looking for. What we can do... Do we go for the stun next turn? I don't think so, right? I kind of just like going for blue card. I like going for blue card here and just going for the draw. I think opponent's slow enough that I just want to go wide, and we get the second summon, right? I just want to go wide here. We can trigger the Warlord's Palace here. So we can go like this. Play the Sandstone Charger. And just have a lethal attack. When it has 8 mana, don't think it's ever going to be enough to also beat the Sermon or the Eye. So GG's. In this match, we'll be going up against what I'm guessing is Timelines, right? Which is PNC and Failure. Should always be Timelines. I want to see if I can get the action. Just the Fate is also not bad. Not an action though, but yeah, it could be worse. Especially with double Bloodletters, it means that we can turbo level action. And then play for the Solani later on. Just the Fate is interesting. I guess the only other option here is if the opponent doesn't get Timelines early. But, you know, what's the fun in that? What's the fun in the opponent not getting Timelines early? They didn't get it, so you know, I'm not complaining, but I want the opponent to have a good chance. Let's go Shell Shocker first, and we can go double Bloodletters and just push a ton of damage. All right. I like the double Bloodletters. So we gotta get one Dark Control at least. That we can equip with the Bloodletters after this turn. And then we'll have just enough mana for Riptide Sermon on turn 4. We can even do Heavy Metal here if we wanted to. Wow. That's game-winning Heavy Metal draw. That's nuts. Sure. Now what? You lose your equipment and you lose your unit. Nice. Nice. We Bloodletters here. And this is gonna push 7 damage, sorry. Aftershock, okay. So I like the Twisted Fate now, and then we just put the Bloodletters on it as well. So I like the Twisted Fate here, and then just I guess the opponent could have access to the combat cook, which could get enough to actually be able to stop our attack. Yeah, so the combat cook gets enough here, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's just push the damage here. We're gonna take 5 next turn. We can play the Vagabond and start advancing the Warlord's Palace. Sure. So I wanted to wait until after the Palace was in the field before we committed the Bloodletters. So opponent finally gets their Timelines. So we go here. We should put one on Twisted Fate, because opponent probably wants to kill Twisted Fate, right? We have the Sermon for the Caitlyn. What if it's Action first? I don't know if it's the Sermon, actually. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know if it's the Rematch Sermon. I think I like the Merciless Hunter. Opponent tapped out of Trollshan. I think it's Merciless Hunter time. So we can kill everything except that. Shoot. The problem is that this is gonna get bigger. I guess we go like this. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go like this. Because we can always just kill this with Twisted Fate. If the opponent wants to block with the combat, that's great. If they want to block with the bots, that's also fine. He's gonna put it in range of the Riptide Sermon. So it puts it in range of the Riptide Sermon, which should be good enough for us. And eventually Twisted Fate, Twisted Fate is gonna be a 4. Once we trigger the action, it's gonna be, oh wow. Yeah, our hand is way too heavy. Our hand is way too heavy. Trundle? That's rough. Trundle is actually rough. Trundle is rough because he's going to get Pillar exactly on turn 8, which is going to get transformed, right? This is some burn, and we're going to have... Actually, we have enough... We have enough to commit another one next turn, but then we're losing to... We're losing to... Yeah, we're losing to the thing. We're losing to the Very Nice. So we're losing to the Very Nice. I think I have to pretend that it's not real. I have to pretend that the Very Nice is not real, unfortunately. So the opponent has exactly Very Nice. We're in trouble. They're also gonna get a pretty big unit here for Ice Pillar. We have to attack now, I think. We have to attack now and kind of force them into an aqua block. Oh, that's a roll. That's actually probably the best roll he could have gotten. That's actually the best roll he could have gotten. Wow. Doesn't matter. Twisted Fate was always gonna die. Yeah, Mystic as well. Wow. We're gonna have to Riptide Sermon the Eldred. So we're gonna have to Riptide Sermon the Eldred. I said that we cannot until next turn. So this has to be the Forsaken back. He's low enough that... And then, when I say low enough that Solani might beat him. And then as soon as I say that, opponent just goes ahead and plays that. And also gas Caitlyn. Holy crap. So we just lose to the open attack now. So we just lose to the open attack. Man, Eldred was such a good hit. I mean, we survived long enough while the opponent didn't have timelines. So it's only fair that once they got the timelines, they got to win. Wow. I also thought that I had more mana than I did for the Sermon at the end. So GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Teemo Caitlyn. Teemo Caitlyn. We want... The Darkened Bloodletters are great. And the Merciless Hunter also feels great to get rid of Caitlyn or Teemo. But we probably want action on top of it too, right? So we probably also want action. We don't get the action. I guess we can still get him. Okay. We get the Riptide Sermon, which is amazing. Second Sermon? Second Sermon doesn't seem horrible. Might be too expensive, so let's skip. Twisted Fate or action are both really good if we skip. Second Sermon is too early. It just might break our hand. And this Twisted Fate. Yeah, Twisted Fate is huge here. We do get 2 puff caps in our deck, which, you know, whatever. Sure. I guess let's just heavy metal. This thing having quick attack is kind of annoying. I also wanted to pass. I wanted to pass, so heavy metal was the great draw. Because it means we don't have to pass, that we can just go ahead and do this. So, that's the first Caitlyn gone. Opponent still does get the 2 flash bombs. But I think if I'm passing, the opponent's never playing Caitlyn. That's why I think it was necessary for me to pass there. Getting those 2 flash bombs does kind of suck, though. Akshan, this would be such a good hand for Akshan. I guess let's go ahead and do this. That lets me get the Dark Control, right? Which is still vulnerable to the flash bomb, but you know, maybe it doesn't hit the flash bomb, and we can play the Bloodletters on it. And of course, as I say that, we hit it. Now listen to the anything. Oh wait, opponent. Hello? 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 We are just the Fate deck. Hello? What? I guess opponent gets the Teemo, which is good by them. Dies to the Riptide Sermon next turn. Well, actually, Teemo's gonna put a lot of shrooms, huh? Teemo's gonna put a lot of shrooms here, by the way. Like a lot. No, opponent, you can't do that. You tapped out a stress defense as well. Why would you get so greedy? We can even kill the Ava now with the Riptide Sermon. That's such a greedy. Wow. That cannot be right. That cannot be right. Now what? Oh, if they just attacked and did the shrooms. Like if they just did the shrooms and open attack, they get to push. They would have a lot. I guess they wanted to take advantage, right? They wanted to take advantage of the Ava Achiever to get even more shrooms on top of the deck before they did the Teemo. So it ended up being super greedy by them. It's a little bit unfortunate on their part. Let's go Shell Shocker. Let's go Shell Shocker. Remember we have another one here. Let's go Marai. I just want to go wide. I just want to go super wide.
We made it.
Okay, Flash. Okay, that's fine. We lose the Vata Negation though, which could be a problem. It might just be Runia's Path. Might just be Runia's Path. Right? We play the second Blood... I guess we have enough. We don't need to play the second Bloodletters, right? Because we can get Absolver. We can go Absolver and Shapestone to push the lethal here. So we have lethal here if the opponent doesn't block with Teemo. With Absolver and Shapestone. I guess Shapestone is only adding 1 and this is only adding 2. Yeah, it had to be the Bloodletters, right? Okay, we still have lethal. It had to be Bloodletters because we can't play both. We can't play both parts of the Absolver. I almost forgot about that. But it's okay. Opponent is not blocking with Teemo because if they block the Teemo, they lose the game anyways. So we just get lethal here anyways, and that's game. Almost forgot. Almost forgot. So GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Norra Heimer. We should be able to kind of grind them down, and we... Oh, this is a great hand. So this is a great hand. Being able to transfer the Bloodletters like over and over means that we can level up Akshan really quickly. So now what I'm looking for is heavy metal to be able to kill the Norra. So if we can get like the heavy metal to be able to kill the Norra, it ends up being amazing. Now, I do need to be careful about Quietus here. So, what if we just pass? I don't want this action to just die. I guess if the opponent has Quietus, they have it. At least they're not killing our Bloodletters with it. So, better than nothing. We get to push 3, advance the action significantly. The problem is the opponent gets Norra. We do have the Sirturmund now, which is nice. I'm gonna save the mana so that we can just Sirturmund the Norra next turn. Not gonna do it now. I'm gonna open attack first. See what the opponent does. Maybe they try to kill the action with Haste Spike. Otherwise, action is gonna be very close to leveling up. They don't go for the Haste Spike play. Okay. Ha! Ha! Now you go for Haste Spike? Now you have to go for Haste Spike, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay. I was like, there's no way that you don't go for the Haste Spike there. That would make no sense. That would make no sense. You can put the Bloodletters on the Shell Shocker, so that's kind of nice. And let's just... I guess we don't... I guess let's do it on the... Let's do it here, because we're always going to block. We're always going to block with one of these two anyways. Eventually, we can start summoning Solani to kind of push the Overwhelm. Opponent. That's such a good roll! That's such a good roll! I mean, he still dies, but that's such a good roll! Yeah, he still dies. The opponent still dies here, but he's fine. Still a ridiculous roll. Let's play the Solanis on the Dark Controls now. Make the Dark Controls be like really big threats that the opponent has to deal with. Because it's still not time to play Solani, right? We have a leveled up action. We're going to play the Vagabond before we play the second Bloodletters. I think I want to push a ton of damage. Opponent gets the tough, which is really sucks. So, I kind of prefer the Vunia's path. I think we're at a point where we're just gonna smirk. And have Solani with her Overwhelm to kind of finish up the game, as well as the multiple Runia's path. Because if the opponent doesn't block with Heimer next turn, for example, they're gonna be taking a ton of damage. So this is gonna be 4, 8, 11, 14%. They have to block with the Esmus. The opponent does have 2 portals though, so they could potentially draw a blocker here. Or they could just make one. But what are they having? Haste Spike? Quietus? Ooh, so we lose 1 Solani. We lose 1 Solani, which kind of sucks. We still keep the unit though. No, okay, doesn't get the portal. So it doesn't get the portal, so let's just attack here. Let's just attack here. If opponent goes... Okay, I was gonna say, if the opponent just takes that damage, I'm chilling. Opponent still goes down to 5. The problem is that Solani is still stuck on this guy, so we can't play her. We cannot play Solani. We just kill Heimer? I'm down to kill Heimer. I'm down to kill Heimer here. Heimer is presenting a lot of blockers that I don't want to have to deal with. So I'm A-okay to kill this guy. Okay. Before the opponent gets any more turrets, let's just kill it right now. Pokey stick? Okay, so gets at least 1 more out of us. Or out of himself, I guess. Gets a freaking Elnock on the top of their deck. And the Paraglide Electrolytic was actually kind of funny. Let's go ahead and do the Runeterra's Portal. We probably need to draw here. It's a little bit awkward, right? It's a little bit awkward that our Solanis are stuck here. I mean, eventually opponent has to block this too. And our hand is also really odd. Second Warlord's Palace. Doesn't do it. If opponent just attacks with the Balloon to your Elnock and the Electrolytic, it's fine. Opponent's just gonna go for the portal value? Huh. Guess let's go here. We have another Runeterra's Path, which is kind of nice. Let's predict first. And then go for it. Sermon. Sermon is nice. Sermon is nice. Sermon is nice because she gets rid of a blocker and gives us another attacker. We actually don't want to play the Shell Shockers. Do we? I guess no reason not to. We're gonna use the mana regardless. Opponent just has so much value. Poor Herder. So we can go here. Is it even the Elnock? Or is it the Paraglide? Like... Sure. Let's go here. Such low value hand. I mean, again, opponent has to eventually block the Darking Trolls. But if they get like a Norra or Heimer, I think we're in trouble. Ah, the collection. The collection is huge for them. The collection is pretty big for them. We still have a little bit wider board than them, while also having Rata Negation. So if the opponent tries to go for like a Poke Stick, we can punish it with Rata Negation and potentially be able to win that way. We can play the second Shell Shocker here. And even if the opponent tries to take favorable blocks, then this is going to be lethal. Yeah, you have to let go. You have to start letting go of your cards. I guess the opponent lives here at 2. But living at 2 loses to a second Sermon. Living at 2 loses to a second Sermon. What if we go here? What if we go here just so that we can summon Solani? So now we get to summon Solani next turn, get rid of the bots. Opponent still has plenty of blockers, but I don't think any blocker is going to be bigger than Solani. And we get Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate is big. So let's go Solani here first. I guess opponent can have access to Overwhelm, to the Vengeance. But we just get the Solani back into our hand, even if the opponent goes for the Vengeance. So it has to be exactly like that. The only downside here is that we do have to kill a unit every time that we play Solani. So that is something I have to be careful about. We have Twisted Fate to kill all the turrets. Which is always nice. I actually like the Anakaboros more than the Akshan. I think at this point, Akshan is not doing much. I don't know how much Akshan is doing. Let them summon whatever they want. So, this red card is looking juicy, though. I want to see if the opponent commits to any of the turrets before we commit. So, we can go. We have 12 mana. Twisted Fate is 4. Iron Akaboros is 5. Marai Warden is another 2. So that's gonna be 11. So that works, right? We always pick Mirai Warden here. We just need to go wide enough. So we go here, clear the whole board. But now my concern is that we don't have a way to stop the turret. So opponent's also now at 1. So they have to keep Vengeance to block the Solani. Minimorph? That also works. So yeah, see that they get the turret. But we still wide enough that we might be okay because we have the Mirai Warden here. Oh, and we get the Sermon. So the Sermon is just lethal next turn regardless. But that's exactly what we predicted into the Mirai. So now we're 2 wider than the opponent. Opponent's gonna have to have like Poke Stick and roll into the portals. And I don't think they get there. And even if they do, then we finish with Riptide Sermon next turn. So there we go. GG's. Whew, that was close. That Minimorph, I didn't expect it. So, hey, welcome back everybody. Hope you enjoyed those games. You see what I'm talking about. This deck can be pretty aggro sometimes, as you saw in some of the games where we just kind of pressure the opponent off the map entirely. And at the same time, you can play a little bit slower, kind of play more for the Akshan and the Solani win condition. We didn't really get to level up Twisted Fate in this video, but again, you kind of saw how many times Twisted Fate got close to leveling up because Ionia, Boros, and Runia's path, that the opponent actually has to consider that being a threat and remove your Twisted Fate right away. Aside from that, you see it, right? All these cards in this deck kind of make sense. I'm not sure how I feel about the Shell Shocker, but I gotta trust 4LW on this. And there were a lot of turns where the Shell Shocker ends up kind of working out, and it easily becomes a 3-attack unit because of the Darkened Bloodletters, even on turn 1. So maybe it actually makes sense. Maybe it does actually make sense. In terms of mulligan, we definitely want to keep Action, and I definitely like keeping the Bloodletters. So Action, Bloodletters tend to be the main things. We can keep Forsaken Bakai, even if we don't have Action, since the Forsaken Bakai can predict us into the Action. So that's what we're looking for. Bakai, Bloodletters, Action. And then depending on the matchup, you kind of play around. So if you're going against aggro, like Pirate Aggro, it's okay to get the Mirai Warden, because the Mirai Warden becomes like a great blocker against their turn 2 attack or their turn 3 attack. Against like Norra decks, I like keeping Heavy Metal because he hits Norra perfectly, right? Against like we played against Viktor today, you can keep stuff like Riptide Sermon that can just punish and kill the Viktor right away. If you know the opponent has a key unit that you want to hit, but just be careful. You know, getting 2 Riptide Sermons can be a little bit aggro sometimes. But having 1 is amazing. So yeah, Action, Bloodletters, Bakai every time, and then the rest is gonna be really matchup dependent. But enough about that. Hope you liked the games today and this new deck by 4LW. If you like our video and you like our content, please make sure to like it below and subscribe to us. We post LOR videos every single day. You can also find us on Twitch at Sirturmund, where we stream 3 to 4 times a week. And you can also find us on Discord and Twitter. The links to those are both in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again tomorrow.